Union membership is growing in certain sectors of society. One of these locally is among adjunct professors. Over the past number of months, United Steelworker Union organizers have been working with the adjunct professors at Point Park University in Pittsburgh to determine the degree of interest in unionization. Much interest was observed in ad hoc meetings sponsored by the United Steelworkers Union. The interest turned into action, leading to today's National Labor Relations Board supervised voting to determine whether the union membership would become a reality for the adjunct professors. About 24 professors gathered in a courtroom in the Federal Building in Pittsburgh to watch the carefully orchestrated voting process. The vote of the rank and file endorsed union membership by a vote of 172 to 79. Much celebrating followed, including the interview you see here with Randa Rouge, union organizer from the United Steelworkers. To say that you're happy is not really stating all the enthusiasm, is it?
No, it's a bit of an understatement.
So you were victorious.
Indeed. The Point Park Adjuncts were victorious. They had a decisive victory. They decided that they wanted to come together, that they were tired of the wage stagnation that's gone on for over a decade, and they wanted to make sure that they had the ability to bargain improvements in their workplace.
What are some other advantages to belonging and connected to the steelworkers?
The steelworkers kind of kicked off the middle class here in Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, we've had a swing back towards kind of low-wage jobs in the area, and right now we are on kind of an upsurge towards building the middle class up again, and it's starting with the adjuncts here.
This is what's been happening at Point Park, though, is indicative of what's happening regionally and nationally, as far as most of the education, it seems, is being done by adjuncts.
Right.
And there aren't any benefits, of course, connected with it. Would this help people who are adjuncts to maybe buy into a program, even if it weren't supplied or paid for by the employer?
It definitely could. Negotiations can entail money and compensation going towards health care benefits. One thing that we'd like to see happen here in Pittsburgh is for the 6,000 adjuncts in the area to all be a part of the steelworkers, and if they're working multiple jobs around the city, essentially having full-time work, that full-time work would then be, given the benefits that a regular full-time job would usually have, and that would be health benefits through the Health and Welfare Fund of the steelworkers.
What are the positive aspects from a Point Park administrative point of view? Do they see any positives in this?
I could not speak for them, but it definitely can be a positive thing. If you have 70% of your faculty being disenfranchised, not having a voice in their curriculum, not having a voice on student outcomes and graduation rates, this takes away from the student experience, it takes away from the quality of education, not because they don't try, not because they're not involved, but because they are marginalized by the process and by the corporatization of Point Park. And, Point Park is not alone. So what we want to do, first and foremost, aside from raising the wages and making sure that benefits are something that Point Park adjuncts get, is also giving them a place at the table to make sure that their voices are heard when it comes to student graduation rates and retention rates, and making sure that the students who pay a healthy amount of money into tuition get what they pay for.
Probably half of the population was born after President Reagan fired the air traffic controllers, which started all the anti-union sentiment. So they don't identify with it. They may react to this, because this might be, I'm stating it, but really asking a question. Do you think that this is the beginning to return to workers' rights across the country?
I absolutely believe that. I think that there is organizing going on in universities all over the country. There is organizing going on here in Pittsburgh, not just in the universities, but also at UPMC, also at the casinos, at the Giant Eagles. People have, yes, not really appreciated all the things that the union movement has done for them, and part of that could be attributed to the unions kind of getting their message across. But when you have a number of people joining with the union, that message is loud and clear. The union movement is made up of workers who desire a right, who desire a right to have their voices heard in the workplace. And, the Point Park students will see this with the adjunct professors that they have. They see that their tuition money is being spent on things that shouldn't be a priority. What should be a priority is their experience in the classroom, the mentoring in the classroom. And when that kind of first-hand experience happens, then people see the value of the union.
Something else that is probably of note, there are other member unions of the AFL-CIO, including SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. And what that industry is finding out, that the movie producers and radio stations and TV stations are finding that it's better to have union representation and members who are part of that union, because they have found out that they can count on the talents of the people who are applying for jobs. If they say they're AFTRA or SAG-AFTRA, the employers take a look at them more closely. So it benefits the workers, but also the companies. Do you feel that?
Absolutely. There is a huge benefit in treating your workers with respect, to listening to your employees, to making sure that there is an investment. When you treat your workers, your adjuncts, your staff like they are expendable, that whatever they say is really of little importance, you have a divestment from the quality of education or product or whatever it is that company or university, whatever their product is, it suffers due to the marginalization of the workers. And that is, one of the reasons that the adjuncts have stood up, because they see the crisis in higher education. They see the effects of the casualization at Point Park on their students, and they just don't want to see this go on any longer.
Is Point Park the first university in the city or college that has unionized?
Duquesne is the first university that unionized, but they have yet to be recognized. Point Park adjuncts will be recognized within 7 days. So we should be the first group of adjuncts to actually get a contract.
And the approval was about 2-1 pro-union rather than non-union.
Yes, so it was a decisive victory.
Anything else you want to say?
Congratulations to Point Park adjuncts. You've led the way, and I'm sure others will be following.
Thanks for watching this video. Give us some feedback, please. Thank you.